Okay, so far we have explored 5 key proteins of diabetes reversal, and we have also compared the animal versus the plant-based proteins. So now, after talking about all these sources, understanding about the 5 key proteins that one requires for the reversal, now it's time to understand how to calculate our protein requirements. And every day of the series has been very well planned and thought of, like how we can educate you, how we can spread the awareness. Because when we do the series for 3 days, 4 days, or 7 days, we try to educate, we try to spread awareness to make you clear about certain concepts. Like protein is one of the major, topic about it, where one has to understand. Either it is about, like, your overall well-being, and protein is required from tip to toe. Any of the organ, your hair, your skin, you talk about, it is made up of protein. So today we have like one of the best, diabetes expert with us, Shoshi. Shoshi is a senior diabetes expert at SugarFit and has worked with renowned organizations like Vivekanand Hospital, Peerless Hospital, VLCC, Healthify Me, and she's a trainer. She's a trainer for the Bangladesh Food and Nutrition Association and a lifetime member of Indian Diabetic Association. Recognized with multiple awards, including the Bengal Icon Award 2022, she has been featured in top publications and invited as a guest speaker at prestigious institution in Kolkata. So she belongs to Kolkata, and she is a very good name over there. She has made her name in a certain time period, and we are very happy and very glad and blessed that she has joined us today, and she will be helping you in understanding the protein requirements. And I'm not going to take much time. I think let's give her the limelight. So welcome, Shiroshi. Let's start with the session.
Thank you so much, Neha. For the lovely introduction, and welcome to all the users. I would say this is our family, as Neha rightly said, that it's our SugarFit family. So rather calling patients and users, I would really love to call you as our family members only. So we have just gathered here to uh, you know uh, enlighten ourselves in terms of some learning, in terms of some knowledge sharing. So I think learning is something which does not need any time, it does not need any age. Even though we carry so and so long of experience, I think every day is a learning process for me as well, where I learn from my users, where I learn from my patient, like how to prepare this, how when we talk about some recipes. So it's always a learning process, and I love to learn. And also when it comes to knowledge sharing, we love doing that. So today's session has been curated in such a way. I believe the last two sessions have been really impactful. And just with the continuation, I thought that let me take up the topic that how much protein do we really need? So for that, I'll just be sharing my screen. Please let me know that whether my screen is visible or not.
Yeah, Shiroshi. It's visible. We can put it in the presentation.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. Okay. So I think the most common questions, the frequently asked questions that we get on a day-to-day basis is, "Ma'am, how much protein do I really need, or what quality of protein do I need, and how much does actually my body needs?" Now of course, we see those clear advertising and marketing, where still now people, whenever they see an ad in regards to a protein, they believe that protein is required in more and more quantity. Now, I am not denying the fact that we do not require protein. Yes, certainly we require protein. We need protein for muscle, we need protein for losing weight, we need protein for skin, hair, as Neha rightly said, that everything is made up of protein. But when it comes to the requirement, how much is the requirement? There comes the question that do we need more and more? Or certainly, how much do we need is the basic question that we have to understand today. Now, the first thing that I would like to state here is, like, what we need to operate with is this, which is the common sense. So, whenever we talk with our clients, whenever we talk with our users, आप देखेंगे दो टाइप, अगर if I divide the patients into two categories, we deal with two type of patients. एक category of patients होते हैं कि जैसे like the previous session, I think my fellow colleague Sohela, health coach Sohela, she did mention about that एक हम लोग का जो इंडियन क्यूजीन होता है उसका डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन प्लेट में क्या रहता है. सो डेफिनेटली इंडियन डाइट मतलब बाय डिफॉल्ट हम लोगों का एक टेंडेंसी होता है कि कार्बोहाइड्रेट पोर्शन इन टर्म्स ऑफ ग्रेन्स उसका क्वांटिटी ज्यादा हो एज कंपेयर टू द प्रोटीन एंड फाइबर. तो ये तो डेफिनेटली है कि इंडियन डाइट इज ऑलवेज लैकिंग इन प्रोटीन, नो मैटर हाउ मच एवर प्रोटीन वी ट्राई टू इंकॉर्पोरेट. और एक सेकेंड ग्रुप होते हैं जो दे आर लाइक वेरी कॉन्शियस nowadays, they are coming with too many stuffs over social media, this and that, that ma'am I have seen this brand and this is being promoted by a famous personality, तो आप ही बोलिए ये क्या मैं ले सकती हूँ on a day to day basis. I think this will be quite useful. Now let me tell you something that वो ही जब हम लोग आप लोगों से बात करते हैं, दिस इज अ वेरी कॉमन थिंग विच आई हैव नोटिस दैट इवन इंडिविजुअल्स हु आर ऑन अ हाई प्रोटीन डाइट, यू नो दे स्टिल can't reach out to their goals मतलब losing weight, या फिर मान लीजिए for those who are trying to take protein for muscle building, they are not getting that satisfactory result even if they are on a high protein diet. So then the question that comes or arises, is it really about the amount of the protein that we have to talk, or is it about the quality, or is it about कि ये जो प्रोटीन डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होता है हर एक मील में, एक ब्रेकफास्ट लंच एंड डिनर, इसको जैसे आपको स्पेस ऑफ करना है, क्या ये आपका सही तरह तरीके से हो, मतलब हो पा रहा है कि नहीं, ये भी हम लोगों को देखना पड़ता है. Now I'll just try to connect, by giving a simple example. जैसे मान लीजिए one scoop of whey protein.
She, in between, your voice is very feeble.
Is it?
Yeah. Everyone able to hear her? Is she clear?
Am
Is
I
it
clear?
just for me or everyone else also? Yes. Can you just keep the mic little bit closer to, like, might be sit little bit closer?
Okay. देखो नेहा अभी ठीक है? Is it fine now?
हाँ, but थोड़ा सा अभी भी कमी है. Is it better, everyone? Better. Okay. Perfect.
Better? चलो. Yeah. So what I was saying is कि अभी एक example देके हम लोग समझेंगे that is it the amount, is it the quality, or is it the space, जो हम लोग ठीक ठाक उसको space कर पा रहे हैं कि नहीं. So जैसे मान लीजिए for example, um, one scoop of whey protein example is giving us 30 grams of protein. तो ठीक है, हम लोग को 30 grams of protein मिल रहा है एक scoop of whey protein से, तो that means amount is perfect. Now when we talk about quality, जैसे मान लीजिए वो जो एक स्कूप से आपको 30 ग्राम्स जो प्रोटीन मिल रहा है, डू यू थिंक दैट क्वालिटी वाइज भी वो सही है? उसका गारंटी कौन देगा आपको? दैट्स अ क्वेश्चन मार्क. बट अगर मैं आपको ये कहूँ कि अगर 2 से 3 चम्मच टेबल स्पून हम लोग पंपकिन सीड्स लेते हैं, हो सकता है कि मेरा क्वांटिटी वाइज प्रोटीन सिर्फ 7 to 8 ग्राम्स मुझे मिल रहा है. आई अग्री. बट आई कैन अश्योर यू अबाउट द क्वालिटी कि ये क्वालिटी प्रोटीन है. वाई? दिस इज अ नेचुरल सोर्स. Now, when we say space of your protein intake during the day, now let me give you an interesting fact. ये जो हम लोग आप देखेंगे जब आपके कोचेस डाइट एक प्रेस्क्रिप्शन बना के आपको देते हैं, क्या होता है कि ब्रेकफास्ट लंच एंड डिनर में वी ट्राई टू स्पेस आउट द प्रोटीन, राइट. और आप देखेंगे कि प्रोटीन इनटेक लगभग हम लोग 15 ग्राम्स के आसपास कोशिश करते हैं उस मेन मील पे डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने के लिए. वाई? Because your body only has the capacity to absorb that amount of protein in each sitting. So approximately 15 grams, but usually 9 to 12 grams protein तक ही आपका बॉडी एक सिटिंग में absorb कर सकता है. अभी आप सोचिए कि अगर एक ही सिटिंग में you are providing your body with 30 grams of protein, तो 15 grams तो आपका बॉडी absorb कर लिया, very good. But how about the rest of your protein, जो 15 ग्राम्स अभी भी बाकी है? तो वो बेचारा अभी तो बॉडी तो अलाउ नहीं किया उसको. Then what it does, it gets stored in your body as glucose and later on it gets converted to fat. तो अभी हम लोग वी जस्ट गेट फ्रस्ट्रेटेड कि मैम इतना सब कुछ कर रहे हैं, इतना ज़्यादा प्रोटीन ले रहे हैं, आपने जो जो एक्सरसाइज भी किए, आपने कहा था मसल बिल्डिंग के लिए, वो भी मैं कर रही हूँ, बट स्टिल इंस्टेड ऑफ बिल्डिंग मसल्स आई कैन सी दैट आई एम नॉट बीइंग एबल टू लूज वेट, rather my fat percentage is getting increased. So what to do? So this is the challenge that we face. Now, as I said, that we need to understand that even if you take a high protein diet, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is getting fully absorbed in your body. You can still be protein deficit. तो अभी हम लोग जो समझेंगे कि प्रोटीन डेफिसिट मैं हूं या नहीं, वो कैसे हम लोगों को समझ में आएगा. सो द आंसर इज, प्लीज लिसन टू योर बॉडी. जो भी आपको सिम्टम्स के द्वार पे जो आते हैं कि चलो अभी आई एम गेटिंग सिक ऑफन, और मे बी पोस्ट मील आई एम हैविंग सीवियर ब्लोटिंग इश्यूज, व्हाट डू वी डू? द इजीएस्ट वे इज वी जस्ट पॉप इन सम पिल्स एंड द सोल्यूशन इज डन. अभी मुझे सब ठीक हो गया है तो अभी मैं ठीक हूँ. बट रिपीटेडली ट्राइंग टू इग्नोर दिस सिम्टम्स is not in a good position. So we need to understand that how do we know if we are protein deficit or not. So let's try to understand with the first symptom, which is, are you getting sick too often? Question yourself. Are you getting sick too often, or is it really becoming difficult for you to recover? तो अभी यहाँ पे जो होता है, जब इजीएस्ट वे हम लोग क्या करते हैं, एज आई सेड कि कोई मेडिसिन मैंने दवाई ले लिया, एक पेन किलर हो गया, कोई एंटीबायोटिक हो गया, काम खत्म, आई एम फाइन. बट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड योर बॉडी डजंट वर्क इन दैट वे. सो व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन यू फॉल सिक, योर बॉडी प्रोड्यूसेस एंटीबॉडीज. एंटीबॉडीज क्या करता है? फाइट करते हैं वो इन्फेक्शन के अगेंस्ट में, ताकि आपको सुरक्षित रख सके. So antibodies कहाँ से प्रिपेयर होता है? Antibodies are also protein in nature. Now you can relate, if your body is deficit in protein, तो आपका antibodies कहाँ से प्रोड्यूस होगा? अगर ठीक ठाक antibodies प्रोड्यूस नहीं हो रहा है, क्या होगा? आपका immunity overall बहुत लो हो जाता है. And if your immunity is getting hampered because of protein deficiency, we see a lot more challenges creeping in. Inflammation hota hai, different kind of medical concerns, medical challenges creeps in. Now, when we talk about inflammation, it can be a very simple, like a body pain, up to a very serious condition like rheumatoid arthritis या फिर cancer. बहुत हद तक हम लोग का inflammation का different category होता है. So now what is the solution? अभी solution है, मैम ने कहा है प्रोटीन लेने के लिए, तो let's start pumping protein into our diet in endless amount. क्यों? मैम मैं protein deficit हूँ. बट ऐसे तो काम नहीं होगा. सो यू हैव टू चेक विथ योर डाइजेशन, यू हैव टू चेक विद द स्टिमुलेशन, चेक विथ हाउ मच डज योर बॉडी टाइप नीड. मेरा बॉडी टाइप, जैसे मान लो स्नेहा नेहा यहाँ पे है, सो विद ड्यू परमिशन नेहा, आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल सो दैट आवर ऑडियंस कैन रिलेट. सो से फॉर एग्जांपल नेहा वेज 70 kgs. अभी मैं भी वे करती हूँ 70 kgs. But it might happen that Neha is looking more lean and more, thin. Why? Because maybe her muscle mass is more than the fat percentage. But when people will look at me, they might think, "Oh, dietitian Shreyoshi ko to 70 kgs, but she looks more flabby." Why? Because maybe my fat percentage is more than the muscle mass. So here comes the composition of the body type. Everything plays a very important role when we calculate ki how much amount of protein we have to provide to our users or to our patients. So the second symptom that we will be talking about is post meal bloating. I think this is a very common symptom जो सबको I think problem होता है. फिर हम लोग कुछ ये खा लिया, कुछ मेडिसिन पॉप इन कर लिया तो बस ठीक हो गया है. बट अगर आप देख रहे हो कि कंसिस्टेंटली ये हो रहा है, परसिस्टेंट, ये बहुत बार आपका हो रहा है, देन प्लीज चेक एट योर प्रोटीन रिक्वायरमेंट. आप देखिए कि आप प्रोटीन डेफिसिट है कि नहीं. तो अगर ऐसा सिम्टम होता है, इसका मतलब हाउ कैन वी रिलेट, इसका मतलब मे बी योर बॉडी इज नॉट बीइंग एबल टू प्रोड्यूस राइट अमाउंट ऑफ एंजाइम्स. व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट एंजाइम्स स्पेसिफिकली, आई एम मेंशनिंग अबाउट प्रोटीएज, जो आपका पैनक्रियास प्रोड्यूस करता है. काम क्या होता है उस एंजाइम का? जब आप एक प्रोटीन रिच खाना ले रहे हो, दैट एंजाइम हेल्प्स टू ब्रेक डाउन द फूड इनटू फर्दर. बट अगर आपका बॉडी प्रोटीन डेफिसिट है, तो फिर राइट अमाउंट ऑफ एंजाइम्स भी आप प्रोड्यूस नहीं कर पा रहे हो, जिसके वजह से दिस काइंड ऑफ ब्लोटिंग, फिर गैसी एक टेंडेंसी, ये हम लोग फेस करते रहते हैं. सो व्हाट इज द सोल्यूशन? सोल्यूशन ये है कि आपका जो डे टू डे बेसिस पे जो डाइट है, उसमें ट्राई टू incorporate such kind of foods that contain those digestive enzymes, amongst which I can take few names. जैसे मान लीजिए it can be a papaya, फिर बनाना, फिर जो fermented products होता है जैसे केफिर या फिर kimchi, that's a kind of a fermented vegetable that we talk. It's a Korean dish. So these ginger, even ginger as well. These are the things that you can include as a day-to-day basis as a part of your diet. Next problem is constipation. Now, when we talk about constipation, madam, मैंने कुछ चूरन ले लिया, कुछ laxative मैंने ले लिया, तो ठीक है, अभी मेरा पेट का कंडीशन ठीक है, अभी मैं उतना कॉन्स्टिपेटेड नहीं हूँ. बट अगेन, दिस कैन नॉट बी लाइफ लॉन्ग. सो नाउ द कॉन्सेप्ट इज व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन यू आर कॉन्स्टिपेटेड. एक्चुअली योर बॉडी इज ट्राइंग टू रिमूव द टॉक्सिन्स, कॉन्स्टेंटली वो पुश कर रहा है कि वो टॉक्सिन्स को निकल पाए. बट व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, द टॉक्सिन्स फ्रॉम द स्टूल is again getting reabsorbed across the intestinal wall back to your blood. तो इसको हम लोग कहते हैं ऑटो इंटॉक्सिकेशन. अभी इंटॉक्सिकेशन मतलब क्या होता है? हम लोग सोचते हैं दैट इफ वी आर गेटिंग एक्सपोज टू बैड एयर और इफ वी आर गेटिंग एक्सपोज टू बैड फूड, देन ओनली इंटॉक्सिकेशन हैपेंस. बट अभी देखिए, constipation, a simple constipation can also lead to intoxication, which might happen due to protein deficiency. So we have to be careful about that as well. Now, the gut health suffering, I think the last three parameters that I have included, it's a part of this as well. But one statement that I would still like to reiterate is please check with your absorption. Very, very, very important. खाना खाने के बाद कभी कभार आप लोग जरूर ये फेस करते होंगे कि जब प्रोटीन ठीक से डाइजेस्ट नहीं होता है, जब बर्ब्स कॉन्स्टेंटली बर्ब्स होता है, तो आपको वो स्मेल आता है ना कि अबाउट दैट अनडाइजेस्टेड प्रोटीन, मे बी अ चिकन और समथिंग. क्यों? वाई? Right now, I just mentioned the answer. The reason is maybe your body is not being able to provide the right type of enzyme that is required to break that protein. So we have to check with this. The next is feeling sad and anxious. Now, अभी sad और anxious है मतलब antidepressant tablets ले लेते हैं. Again, this is the solution. But no, heard about the word neurotransmitters. So neurotransmitters क्या होता है? वो केमिकल मैसेंजर होते हैं जो एक नर्व सेल और एक नर्व सेल को सिग्नल भेजता है. ठीक है, तो ये जो न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स होते हैं ना, ये भी आपका प्रोटीन इन नेचर है. जैसे मान लीजिए सेरोटोनिन, जैसे मान लीजिए गाबा, दीज आर ऑल प्रोटीन इन नेचर. सो क्या होता है, अगर आपके बॉडी फिर से प्रोटीन डेफिसिट है, तो ये सफिशिएंट अमाउंट ऑफ न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स तो प्रोड्यूस ही नहीं हो पा रहा है आपको खुश रखने के लिए. So as a result of which we find severe mood fluctuations, बहुत mood fluctuate करने लगता है. And what do we say as a remedy? कि आप meditation कीजिए, आप सोने से पहले कुछ deep breathing technique exercise कीजिए, problem solve हो जाएगा. Yes, to some extent definitely, but alongside we also have to check that whether your body is going deficit in protein or not, because this can also be one of the reasons. Okay, so next, this is a very ये जानेंगे खुद के लिए कितना प्रोटीन जरूरत है, ये कैसे हम लोग समझ पाएंगे. हाउ कैन वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट? सो पर्सनलाइज प्रोटीन इनटेक बेस्ड ऑन द वेट एंड एक्टिविटी लेवल. द क्वेश्चन इज हाउ मच प्रोटीन डू यू नीड? So now again, this is a very simple slide where I have divided all the individuals into three categories. फर्स्ट कैटेगरी, एक सिडेंट्री इंडिविजुअल. सिडेंट्री मतलब जो बैठ के हम लोगों का काम होता है, हमेशा डेस्क जॉब, जो लोग डेस्क जॉब करते हैं, फिर बहुत ज्यादा इधर उधर मूवमेंट्स बहुत कम हो पाता है, वी कंसिडर दैट एज अ सिडेंट्री इंडिविजुअल. अभी उनके लिए कितना हम लोग रिकमेंड करते हैं? 0.8 ग्राम पर केजी बॉडी वेट के हिसाब से. फिर जैसे मान लीजिए एक्टिव इंडिविजुअल्स. एक्टिव इंडिविजुअल्स मतलब जैसे मान लीजिए जो रूटीन में एक मॉडरेट एक्सरसाइज वो लोग मेंटेन करते हैं, इवन दो जो एक्टिविटी या प्रोफेशन पे वो है, it requires walking, traveling, then maybe some amount of moderate exercises are there as a part of their routine. We consider them to be as active individuals. So active individuals, again, on the depending on the kind of activity that you are doing, we recommend 1.2 to 1.5 gram of protein per kg body weight. And the third parameter is strength training and muscle building. जो muscle builders होते हैं, जो gym oriented athletes, तो इन लोगों को हम लोग थर्ड कैटेगरी में रखते हैं. जहाँ पे again depending on the activity we divide the protein, that is 1.6 to 1.8 grams per kg body weight. अभी फिर कैलकुलेशन बहुत ही सिंपल है. अगर मान लीजिए कोई sedentary activity, कोई sedentary person, we want to calculate their protein. Simple. अगर if I weigh 70 kgs and I am a sedentary individual, simply 70 into 0.8 roughly, which is 56 grams of protein. So 56 grams of protein is the minimal protein that I need on a day-to-day basis to sustain. So similarly, when it is about a moderate activity, so a person weighing 70 kgs with moderate activity needs 1.2 gram of, as I said, of protein requirement depending on the activity. So 1.2 gram into 70, which is 84 grams of protein per day. Now, this is, I think, last two sessions that we had, we have received a very good idea about what are the best sources of plant proteins and animal proteins. So I'm not taking you through that again. But yes, what is more important is आपका जो एक balanced जो plate जो है वो कैसा होना चाहिए. Definitely, we all have been guiding about the typical concept of the meal plate. But again, when you are on a protein based meal, what are the things that needs to be paired up ताकि ये प्रोटीन अब्जॉर्प्शन आपका बहुत अच्छी तरह से हो पाए. So the first category is paired with healthy fats. Now, when we say healthy fats, definitely the pictures as it shows avocado, nuts, seeds. These are all sources of healthy fats. When combined with a protein source, it gives you the right absorption. It suits your digestion as well. Second is add complex carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates मतलब जिसमें कुछ percentage of fiber भी वहाँ पे add on होता है जो आपका oats या फिर brown rice या फिर sweet potato. These are quinoa. These are all the sources of good complex carbohydrates that we can include on a day-to-day basis. And the last pointer which I have mentioned, rotate between animal and plant-based protein. Now, this was also a pointer which I heard because I joined yesterday's session, again for learning only. So where health coach Sohela has rightly mentioned about, she gave a very detailed idea about what is the importance, why you should pair it up with the plant and animal protein, why you should rotate, why, to get a complete amino acid profile in a healthy manner. So my goal is just to balance your plate. This is what we have been guiding our users. Make it very simple. Don't try to complicate things. So balance your plate to just fuel your body. Don't overwhelm it. Eating smart is always better than eating more. This is the concept which I believe, and I always like to tell it to my users as well. So, remaining three nutrients specifically that I want to mention here is the other nutrients for protein absorption. One is fiber. So, as I said, that heavy meals or high protein meals sometimes it leaves us bloating or it leaves us that gassy kind of an environment. So, for that, fiber incorporation helps to ease that digestion process. Now, we all are very well aware where from we get the fiber, the whole grains, the legumes, the fresh vegetables that we get on a day-to-day basis. So that should be a part of your diet when again we consider the protein absorption. Second is vitamin B12. I call it as a powerhouse nutrient, right? Because it helps to synthesize protein into the amino acids. And when it comes to the sources, animal sources, of course, like eggs, the dairy products, and when it comes to plant sources, now those who are comfortable taking the dairy products, they can definitely include that as a part. एंड नहीं तो फिर आपका विटामिन B12 का आजकल बहुत फोर्टिफाइड फूड्स भी आता है. सो यू कैन जस्ट कंसल्ट योर कोच रिगार्डिंग दैट एंड यू कैन कीप दैट एज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर डाइट. And the last point is hydration. बहुत बहुत important because water helps to synthesize the proteins and it helps to flush out the wastes from your body. So अगर आप dehydrated हो तो इसका मतलब आपका ये जो पूरा process ये slow down हो जाता है. So as a result of which, what will happen? As a result of which, again, the system, the balance will be off. So sipping water in between is definitely something that we recommend. Now, a $1 billion question: are protein powders and supplements safe? So I think this was also a part that was covered by Sohela yesterday. But I just want to give you a little insight because this is something that I get on a day-to-day basis. That, man, is it safe to have a protein powder? I wish we would never have recommended a protein powder and supplements क्योंकि पहले हम लोगों का जो food chain, it used to be so pure, it used to be so good. But abhi, with the changing lifestyle, with the change, with the environment that we are living into, जहाँ पे हम लोग रहते हैं, the soils are getting depleted, as a result of which different kind of new, what should I say, diseases are creeping in, as a result of which new treatments, we are providing. तो इसके वजह से क्या हो रहा है, हम लोगों का पूरा विटामिन, पूरा अमाइनो एसिड जो प्रोफाइल, दैट इज गेटिंग हैम्पर्ड। तो जिसके कारण हम लोगों को वो क्वालिटी चाहिए जो आजकल नहीं मिलता है, बिकॉज अभी दुनिया पूरा एडल्ट्रेशन का दुनिया हो गया है। क्वालिटी फूड इज समथिंग विच इज अ रेयर क्वेश्चन। So that is the reason why we, in certain cases, yes, we do recommend, but जब भी हम लोग प्रोटीन शेक के बारे में बात करते हैं, तभी एक बिगेस्ट इशू हो जाता है कि हम लोग देखते हैं कि बहुत ज्यादा पैसे हम लोग खर्च कर रहे हैं, बट again, quality wise, zero. We are not getting any idea. So it's just in short that I have written when to consider the protein supplements. So usually when you are not meeting your protein requirements through food, post workout for faster muscle recovery, and during the busy schedules, jahan pe we are unable to take a whole meal. And the best protein supplements for diabetes, again, I have not mentioned any brand name that we are not supposed to, but the quality of protein that we can suggest is a whey protein, of course. Preferred is an isolate form that supports the insulin secretion and muscle growth. Collagen, we all know it's required for elasticity of our skin, so it's great for our skin, joints, and gut health. And plant based protein, that is pea, hemp, and rice, ideal for lactose intolerance and plant based diet. Now, the last slide, now we have to close the loop, that is the holistic health and protein. Now protein अकेले कुछ काम नहीं कर पाएंगे. Again, very sorry to say that only diet, no, it doesn't work like that. So there are certain other parameters that also needs a support. क्या, when we talk about nutrition, it should be a deep cellular nutrition जहाँ पे nutrient dense meal, एक balanced nutrition का importance आपको समझना पड़ेगा. Next is adequate exercise. We always tell about ki, please use those target exercises for building up your muscles. Just by taking a walk or just walking for 45 minutes to 1 hour will not solve your problem. So it has to be a combination of cardio along with the muscle strengthening that we focus on a day-to-day basis in our counseling, which will help you to gain your muscles. Quality sleep. Again, quality here is very important. मैंने सिर्फ 7 to 8 hours, मैम मैंने स्लीप ले लिया है, नो. When are you going to bed? When are you waking up? Are you facing any difficulty? Are you facing any kind of disturbances while going to sleep? All of these shows the quality. Because I think जब आप लोग CGM देखते हैं, ग्लूकोज का जो फ्लक्चुएशंस, अगर फास्टिंग मॉर्निंग लेवल्स आप लोग ज्यादा देखते हैं, डू वी ओनली ब्लेम द फूड जो रात को हम लोग खाए हैं? नहीं. हम लोग देखते हैं सीजीएम पे वो नाइट आपका स्लीप पैटर्न कैसा था, आपका स्लीप का क्वालिटी कैसा था, जिसके कारण भी आपका नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग फास्टिंग लेवल्स पे इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है. Next is about your emotional wellness. Now again, stress is something which is a part and parcel of everyone's life. So we can't say ki ab stress mat lijiye. That will be very impractical. But management of your stress is something which is very important, which I think is a part of our regular counseling. Spiritual connection. Of course, align your nutrition and fitness goal with the sense of purpose that you are doing. And last is breath. So of course, the deep breathing exercises that helps to relax. This is also something that we recommend. So with this, I end my topic.
Wow, Shreyashi, I think that was so crisp and very, very short and easy to understand. So I hope the session is very clear to each one of you. Still, I was getting lot of questions कि हम कैसे अपने प्रोटीन का रिक्वायरमेंट समझेंगे. So अगर आपका आइडियल बॉडी वेट, आपका BMI 22 है, एंड अगर आपका आइडियल बॉडी वेट 60 kgs है, सो आपको 60 ग्राम्स ऑफ प्रोटीन चाहिए अगर आपको कोई भी हेल्थ कंडीशन नहीं है, राइट? अगर आपका बॉडी वेट, आइडियल बॉडी वेट 56 है, तो 56 हर केजी के हिसाब से 1 ग्राम ऑफ प्रोटीन इज रिक्वायर्ड. ठीक है, मैंने आपको एक PDF भेजा है चैट में, जिसमें बड़े लोगों के लिए, जो ओल्ड पीपल है, उधर मसल लॉस ज्यादा होता है, तो द प्रोटीन रिक्वायरमेंट इज मोर. तो वहां पर मैंने सारी डिटेल्स शेयर करी है, आपको PDF में सब मिल जाएगा. आपको जस्ट अपने आइडियल बॉडी वेट से कैलकुलेट करना है. अगर आपको कोई भी डिफिकल्टी हो, कोच के साथ बैठिए, शी विल हेल्प यू इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग हाउ टू कैलकुलेट इट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ योर वेट and your ideal body requirement as per the health conditions. So if we look for the senior citizens, older, जितने भी 60 plus है, 1 to 1.2 grams of proteins. If you don't have any other health conditions like kidney disease or uric acid, 1 to 1 point grams of protein per kg बॉडी वेट, आइडियल बॉडी वेट, ठीक है। तो अगर आपका आइडियल बॉडी वेट 60 है तभी, अगर आप ओवरवेट है, अगर आप ओबेसिटी है, आपको ओबीस है, देन we won't calculate as 75 grams of proteins because that is not required. You require only the amount of protein which is, as per your ideal body weight. So I have sent all the details in the chat section. If you open the PDF, you will get to know. I have also shared a lot of, so, sources also, so that you get a fair idea what are the sources of proteins. We will share the entire summary of all the 7 days sessions at the end. But if you join, then only you can relate to it. If you haven't joined the session, आपको कुछ समझ नहीं आएगा. So now it's quickly time to take the questions. I could see a lot of questions in the chat section. Sir, Sashi ma'am, all these questions, like, I will collate and send you the PDF for, same. I have like collated all the questions for all the different sessions. We'll send it at the end of the series. Okay. Due to the diabetes, majority of persons develop gastroparesis due to the constipation. Due to that, constipation occurs. And am I right? Sure, you want to give any comment on that?
Yeah, to some extent, definitely. But yes, as I rightly said, that कॉन्स्टिपेशन का जो कारण है वो सिर्फ आपका only a specific reason is not responsible for constipation. So this is how I try to portray कि एक protein deficit diet भी आपका constipation मतलब related issues create हो सकता है. So here we definitely have to take care of the digestion, absorption, assimilation. ये जो पूरा process होता है इसका बहुत take care करके हम लोग को करना चाहिए, because again if your gut health is not in the right condition, then again everything will be rendered useless. So
Yeah,
gut
and
health is
even
very, very
very
important.
well said, I think, Shoshi. And even if you are increasing your protein intake, it has to be gradual, otherwise, you will get constipated. So, with the help
Exactly.
of the coach, that's why you have been assigned with the
Yes.
coach. Take the help of the coach, sit and discuss. Right now, in my diet plan or in my diet, that's why updating the food log is very important, because as a layman, we feel, अरे हम तो बहुत सारा proteins खा रहे हैं, हमने दोपहर में दाल खाया, but
Correct.
लंच डिनर में कुछ भी ऐड नहीं किया प्रोटीन का सोर्स, तो प्रोटीन तो था ही नहीं.
Actually, I mentioned about कि how spacing is very important. और आपका एक ही point of time में जो हम लोग इतना protein अगर ले भी लेते हैं, whether that is getting absorbed and utilized, that is again a big question. So that spacing protein in all the main meals is very important. That definitely you have to sit with your coach as per your requirement, as per your age, as per your body weight, height, your medical concerns, your blood reports. Everything should be synced together in order to give you the right requirement.
Absolutely. So this question has been asked yesterday also. Again, people are asking that extra protein powder puts extra pressure on kidney. Sure, she will take.
Yes, undoubtedly, undoubtedly. That's what I think. These are all the questions which today we have, very well discussed and covered. So I think if you again want to go back and again want to listen very minutely, you will get your answers definitely.
Absolutely. We have more questions like, it's good to have proteins from the natural diet.
Yes. Of course, of course. That's what I said. That I wish we didn't have any supplements, but that's what I said. The food chain now has become so, difficult. It's all we live in the world of adulteration. So that is the reason why natural protein is something that is getting faded away. We are just focusing on ये अच्छा है, वो ब्रांड अच्छा है कि नहीं, ये प्रोटीन सप्लीमेंट अच्छा है कि नहीं. आप पहले बेसिक्स को मीट अप करना सीखो. हम लोग को पहले बेसिक्स को मीट अप करना पड़ेगा. एक बेसिक्स आपको एक नेचुरल प्रोटीन सोर्स ही प्रोवाइड कर सकता है, बिकॉज अगेन इफ वी opt for any supplementation, there is the question of quality as well, which in the very first slide I mentioned about the scoop, one scoop of whey protein maybe is giving you this much, but हो सकता है कि पंपकिन सीड्स हम 2 से 3 स्पून ले रहे हैं, बट वो मुझे कम प्रोटीन दे रहा है, बट क्वालिटी वाइज we are assuring that it is a good quality protein. Why? Because it's a natural
Absolutely.
source. Yes.
Perfect. And apart from that, Elizabeth ma'am has one more question, that what are neurotransmitters?
न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स एज आई सेड कि ये एक सिग्नल की तरह काम करता है। ये जो मान लीजिए हॉर्मोन्स, जो हॉर्मोन्स के बारे में हम लोग बात करते हैं ना, तो हॉर्मोन्स भी तो वो केमिकल मैसेंजर्स होते हैं जो एक जगह से एक जगह को सिग्नल पास करता है, करेक्ट? तो न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स आर ऑल्सो दैट, जो एक वन नर्व सेल से और एक नर्व सेल को वो इंफॉर्मेशन पास ऑन करता है थ्रू सिग्नल। सो दीज आर द थिंग्स विच आर डेफिनेटली रिलेटेड टू योर मूड्स। ये जो मैंने जो पॉइंट बताया अभी आपको, सैडनेस, हैप्पीनेस, एंक्शियस, ये सब मूड जो फ्लक्चुएट होता है, दिस इज बिकॉज ऑफ द न्यूरोट्रांसमीटर्स ओनली। सो इफ यू डू नॉट अगेन हैव द प्रोटीन, as I said, neurotransmitters requires protein. They are made up of protein. So again, if you are protein deficit, there will be fluctuation in the neurotransmitter, as a result of which, again, we will face such kind of symptoms.
Okay, so Shruti, in a week, how many eggs a person can consume?
Okay, now this is again, it might be a generalized question, but again, depending on the requirement, depending on the medical concern, especially the lipid profile part, we can consider. But of course, what I usually suggest, devoid of any medical conditions, I think daily we can definitely consume. Again, as I said, depending on the medical conditions, but daily one egg is absolutely fine.
Absolutely. And if you are, building muscles, you need more, then you can go with the egg white. Avoid taking egg yolk on a regular basis. 7 eggs whole you can eat in a week.
Yes,
That's for a normal person,
normal individual.
without much health conditions. It changes with every health conditions and every disease what you have. So please again, for the personalization, do check it once with the coach if you have any kidney conditions or any other, specific ailment. Okay. Now, another important question, and I think it's an interesting question that do really protein get converted into glucose? That's a question by Mr. Pawan.
Yes, of course. As I said, the excess protein, the amount of protein that is required, if it is get rightly absorbed, that is fine. But the excess amount of protein which is not getting absorbed, that actually gets stored in your body as glucose, and later on, it actually gets converted to fat.
Absolutely. And one more question, so there's one question that do we need extra proteins if we are into heavy muscle building exercises or heavy workout routine?
Hmm. Again, extra protein, again, this is something that again needs a personalized and a customized touch, depending on, we have to take a recall on how much amount of protein actually you are able to meet on a day to day basis, and where is the deficit lying, and also about the kind of activities that you are doing, how much amount of activities, what kind of activities are you performing, and thereby calculating both, we have to implement that. Yes, if there is a necessity of protein requirement, of course, and if there is not, then again, it is a very individualized and a personalized question, where you can definitely consult with your coach, sit with the requirements that you need, and definitely he or she will be able to help you out.
So I give you a, very apt condition of an example of one of my client recently. So what he did is he joined Shridambri's classes, and that's a very reputed gym over here. So what the trainer did over there, not Shridambri, but one of her trainer, he immediately increased the person's protein intake from 60 grams to 120 grams. And what happened, just because he's very conscious, he keep checking his blood parameters, he noticed his uric acid has gone up to 9, which is because he has a family history of uric hyperuricemia also. So we have to be very careful, right, in that situation. So the trainers, they don't have the right knowledge about it, and sometimes without any, see, we are dietitians, but instead of that, we always take a permission or discuss it with the physician or the doctors to understand, and then only we suggest you something. So it's always good to have a good conversation and discussion about a particular client or the patient, and then take a further call. So इतना ज्यादा proteins बढ़ा दिया जिसकी वजह से uric acid बढ़ गया, kidney also got little impacted, creatinine level has increased, and you just imagine he's just 29 years. So this is
और नेहा, I would
really
just
not
like
good.
to add on, यहाँ पे ना मान लो अगर just without again consulting any expertise, ये जो प्रोटीन शेक और प्रोटीन पाउडर का ये जो एक कॉन्सेप्ट हो गया है कि प्रोटीन पाउडर लेते जाए, तो ऐसा भी वी गेट एन आंसर कि मैम द टाइम आई हैव स्टॉप टेकिंग प्रोटीन पाउडर, आई सी दैट माय गट हेल्थ इज गेटिंग बेटर. तो ये जो प्रोटीन पाउडर्स में it's not that quality. इसीलिए I was mentioning about the quality. अभी बहुत ज़्यादा fillers ऐड किया जाता है, फिर ये जो अमाइनो स्पाइक मतलब ये जो एक लेवल रहता है कि आपका इतना इतना अमाइनो एसिड्स यहाँ पे मेंशन है, बट ये भी मेंशन वैसे है कि नहीं उस पाउडर में, दैट्स ऑल्सो a question mark. And again, when it comes to flavors, a lot more flavors are being added, a lot more aspartame, hidden sugars. तो ये सब से तो डेफिनेटली बेहतर है कि आप पहले बेसिक प्रोटीन में फोकस कीजिए. लो कॉस्ट प्रोटीन हम लोग जो बोलते हैं सत्तू, कोई इसको ध्यान में नहीं लेते हैं, बट दिस इज वन ऑफ माय फेवरेट एंड आल्सो आई गिव इट टू माय यूजर्स आल्सो कि आप पहले उससे शुरुआत करके तो देखिए, फिर अगर नहीं होता है वी विल थिंक अबाउट. सो
Perfect. So I think there's one more question which I will take from Mr. J.K. Agarwal. Anyone who has 250 post-meal low, how much sugar the one person should take. So if your sugar levels are 250 post-meal, you have to check on your carbs. Protein has to be there, but the plate has to be balanced. There should be a one bowl of protein, okay, and then one, portion of your grains, and the entire half plate has to be filled with the vegetables and the salad. So if you are not doing the meal sequencing, if you are not following the plate method that your coach has taught or might be teaching you every single day, your readings will be definitely high. And then again, what workout you are doing, or in a particular day, please take care of that. Right? So, Mr. J.K. Agarwal, please tag me at the rate Neha Kapoor in the premium group. I will help you. But I think from here we come to the end of this session, and I request everyone to do not miss all the series. Tomorrow again we will be coming up with the next session, and don't miss that session. I request each and everyone over here to please do share your feedback with us. You can write down in the chat section. We would like to understand how much you like these series, whether you are getting benefited or not, any changes that you want to see in a particular session. तो हम कल के सेशन में उस चीज का ध्यान रख सकते हैं ना. Tomorrow session is very much important. What is the requirement of protein for the weight loss and the muscle gain? So whenever we talk about requirements now comes, every diabetic person has a muscle loss. We have to focus on how to gain on the muscles, and when you gain on the muscles, you gain on the weight also, right? And how to get the good fat loss. So if the protein is missing in the diet, it's a one of the biggest missing link in between the weight loss and the lot of muscle loss. So please join tomorrow's session. कल join करिएगा. ये वाला सेशन बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है आपके लिए, बिकॉज हम इस पे ध्यान ही नहीं देते. एंड ऑल द इंडियंस हैव अ वेरी वीक मसल्स, एंड जितना अपना मसल्स पे इन्वेस्ट करेंगे उतना जल्दी डायबिटीज रिवर्स होगी, उतना जल्दी आप उतना ज्यादा आप अच्छा क्वालिटी लाइफ स्पेंड करेंगे. एंड आई एम श्योर मच मोर टू लर्न टुमारो. So we have to come to the end of this session. Thank you so much, Yoshi. It was a very wonderful, very short, crisp, and easy to understand session. I hope you all agree with me. So thank you for the time on Sunday evening. कल फिर से मिलते हैं. 7 days की सीरीज है, 3 सेशन और बच्चे हैं, 4 सेशन. Please do join, and I'm sure every day it will be a new learning, but it's going to be a lifelong learning. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you everyone. Good night.